Hello everyone, my name is Nusi and today we are building the secret cottage from Howl's Moving Castle. This is my very first attempt at recreating something in Minecraft and I have to start with Howl's Moving Castle because it's honestly guys, it's my favorite movie of all time. I can't get enough of that film. The love I hold for it in my heart is kind of absurd. I am obsessed. I've always been obsessed. I could speak forever about Howl's Moving Castle, but we're gonna start with Howl's Secret Cottage from the movie, and it's honestly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. Even if it's fictional, I would live there in a heartbeat. So let's build it in Minecraft because it seems like it should be a pretty good starter base if you ever wanted one. Let's go! So I'm going to start off here in the meadow, and the reason for that is, well, meadows are nice and I like the mountainous background here because that's what we do have in the movie. There's some mountains in the background and of course flower fields all over the cottage is what makes it so iconic, but a big part of the cottage is actually the water. So if we grab ourselves a water bucket here in the meadow, so a big part of the cottage is how it sits on top of a river or a stream of some sort on a little bridge, which is just the most cute idea ever, and we have to build a little watermill to go with it. But I'm here in the meadow because I think the mountains look great as a backdrop. Love the flowers everywhere, but this watercolor specifically I feel is going to bring so much life to the build. But I guess before we start with any of that, I need to plan out where I put this, so it's not going to be 100% accurate to the movie, but let's plan things out. Here's what I've done. I've marked out the sort of frame of the building and the key points of it with some wool so we can actually visualize this, and I'm so glad I did this because it took me several attempts to feel like I've gotten the scale right. Even now, I feel like it's maybe a little bit off by a block or two somewhere. Like, I'm still kind of deciding if the roof should be a block shorter or taller. I do think it'll look better once we have slabs and stairs in instead of full wool blocks. So now let's think about color palettes. Well, both the bridge here and the cottage itself have kind of this neutral beige color. So my heart immediately goes to sandstone for both of them, but we do probably want to differentiate them a little bit because this is probably good for the cottage, but we don't want to have the same material for the bridge. So I'm trying to think of what else would work here in the game of the Minecraft. Why did I say it like that? We could always go for stone, but I don't feel like it quite matches. But I'm actually thinking that packed mud, although it's a little bit darker than what the bridge is in the film, this could maybe work. I'll have to come back to that one. Now, the roof is an interesting one because it's quite a mossy looking roof. So immediately, obviously, I go to mossy cobblestone as sort of an option, or mossy bricks. I think cobble, but the actual color of it matches stuff a little bit better. So we might want to do a mix of both of these. I think the front block here should be a slab because we can see a little bit of the wall above the window in the actual screenshot from the movie that I'm referencing, and so I think slabs at the front is the only correct solution here. Actually, now that I do it like this, I realized that the door also reached the same height, so let's pop in a trapdoor here. These are placeholders and we can adjust them later. Okay, that looks about right. And then we're probably going to use full blocks after, so we have a little bit more options for texturing here. We could go normal tough and some normal mossy. I think together should look pretty good. Oh yeah, I think that's kind of the colors we're looking for sure. The moss in the cottage roof in the screenshot is kind of right at the bottom, and then it sort of goes a little bit less mossy as we go up. So that's when we transition maybe from mossy cobble to more normal tough. Yeah. Okay, I like the look of this. And I think that's a fairly straightforward color palette, but this is the tricky part because it's a little bit more of a grey color, but not as grey as stone. Do I want to go for accuracy or do I want to go for something more fun? This very well could be the smartest thing I've ever done. Okay, wait. It looks a little bit weird just now. The window specifically. The window is what I'm referring to. Does it look a little bit weird? Because you can see ice and moss behind it. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird. But if we go further away, I think that really gets that sort of reflection almost look that I'm looking for in this build. Oh, okay, kinda love it. Is this cool or what? Am I a genius? I'm not sure, but we got blue eyes and moss there. So let's take a look at the back. There's no back. I was just on the front of the build for now, just to see how things are feeling. And obviously, if you're using this as a starter house, you probably don't want to have your fake windows in here, but this is what it looks like from the other side. So it's completely sort of unusable from the inside, but as like a background piece, kind of love it. Let's take a look at these colors I've decided to choose. So this is what I'm really proud of. I love the way that this has worked out. In the actual movie, you can see there's a lot of sort of deterioration and almost like wear and tear on the house walls. So while they started off with this sort of sandstone color, there is a lot of darker patches and even patches here in the corner where it looks like you can start to see the brick and masonry behind whatever this finish is at the front. So I added jungle wood to really hit that color. I think it works. I think, especially from afar, I think it really works. For the roof, I do think I need to make the top a little bit darker, but this is like a good starting point. And then over here, the bridge, I'm still not too sure about because at the moment it's very much blending in with the roof when it's meant to be two completely different colors. So I might get rid of this brick in here. I don't know if we need it. Ideally, the closest color is actually this light grey wool, but having the whole thing out of light grey wool was not feeling good. So I'm not sure what I'll do there yet. I do like this little granite opening for the water to flow through. And I like the chains and black carpets from afar to make the little railing there. So I'll probably keep that. But yeah, I need to work a little bit more on these colors. And then once I have everything nailed down, I can move on to, well, the rest of the cottage. Okay, final color change. I promise, there it is. I have changed this bridge to be more of a gravel color. There's a slight redness to these coral blocks. These are dead coral blocks mixed in with gravel and some light grey wool and some andesite. And I think this is just enough difference between this and the roof, which I also added some copper to. Look at that, kind of cool. Kind of looks good and mossy, right? I like that. I really like the copper there. But yeah, final color change for this. I think it's enough of a shade difference between all three of these colors where each thing is separate and distinct, but you know, it works. It's not a perfect color match to the movie, but you know, I'm just gonna have to take it because my other options are making this whole thing out of sandstone or stone, which are both completely valid, especially because coral is not that accessible early game. So if you're going for a starter base, just use stone bricks. It will still look fine, I think. Or you could also use sandstone to match the house a little bit better, but I thought it was a bit too samey with either of those options, so I went for this. But yeah, big fan, and I finished up the walls on the other side here as well. It's not perfect kind of texturing. I kind of just went in quickly with it. In fact, let me fix this. This is bothering me. Yeah. See, I'm gonna work on it a little bit more. I don't know if I'm gonna need any windows in the back. I think I'm focusing mostly on this front view. This is the iconic look, right? So next up, I guess, is honestly this pond, because blue wool is not quite cutting it. We have the beautiful Meadow watercolors, so let's use it. I'm gonna do a little bit of terraforming, and I just realized I still need to do this water wheel as well. Okay, let's put in the water, and then let's put in the wheel. Well guys, I think we are done with the build. Here's my water wheel. There's been better water wheels in Minecraft, but I think for the scale we're working at, it's pretty good. Oh man, this place is looking beautiful. I actually kind of want to build this in a survival world now, because what a wonderful base this is. Now, I did spam flowers to really recreate that iconic flower field look, and I think I did an okay job. They're not the most natural spread of flowers, but it works. It looks way better for my level. It's not a flyy base, it's a walky base. And we can go in here and totally have a finished interior in here. And I'm still kind of proud of these of these windows, because from afar, okay, this is a walkie base, and this is an also from afar build. From afar, I do really think it looks kind of like a reflection. Still proud of that. How cute is this? And I love the deep blue of the water here in the Meadows biome. So cool, really finishes the build. I actually added some moss here around the edges because I felt like we needed a slightly more vibrant green in the grass. So there's a mix of normal grass and moss in here, and overall, quite chuffed with that. Now, I cannot put a still from the movie in, unfortunately, because I don't own the rights to Howl's Moving Castle, as sad as that is. But if you've seen the movie, did I nail it? Did I get the build right? And if you haven't seen the movie, you should watch it. You should. It's a great film. It really is great. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want to see more and what kind of build I should do next. And I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye!